On this channel, I've been very transparent about my mental health struggles. Anyone that has watched this channel for any period of time will have heard me talk about my battles with anxiety, with depression, and with panic attacks. This is stuff I suffer with every day. And because I don't take any medications, I need to find a way that I can combat this stuff so I can live a normal life, because otherwise I would literally be stuck on the couch and not want to do anything. That's how bad my anxiety, depression, and panic used to be. And this is where running comes in. Now, running wasn't something I always had, and we'll get into that in just a little bit, but on top of running, I also go to in-person counseling. I see a counselor once every couple of months. When I have my insurance, I go quite frequently, but my insurance has since run out. In-person counseling is extremely valuable, but today's video sponsor, BetterHelp, offers an online counseling service for those of you that can't afford to go to an in-person counselor, but more on them in just a little bit. One of the main reasons why I'm so transparent when it comes to my mental health is because I want to use whatever platform I have to promote men's mental health. Men's mental health in particular is extremely stigmatized. Men think that if they have any type of mental weakness, it means that they're weak and not manly. Any threat to their masculinity is just totally out of the question, so I'm not gonna admit that I'm having anxiety or I'm depressed today or any of these stuff, and that is extremely unhealthy and can eventually lead to extremely negative outcomes if we don't deal with it. And this whole weakness thing is extremely confusing to me, because how can you be weak if it's literally just your brain chemistry messing with you? We're all human beings, no matter what we describe ourselves as, and human beings, we all have brain chemistry. And that brain chemistry is literally altered every time you go through some sort of traumatic event. So if you're having anxiety and depression, it's literally your brain just not wired correctly, so you need to go and get that rewired. So you need to go have someone, a professional, help you rewire them back into working order. There's no need to be ashamed if your brain chemistry needs a little bit of help. Absolutely no reason to be ashamed. Would you be ashamed if you had a broken arm? No, and it's just another type of health issue. So men, if you're having struggles with mental health, please reach out to someone. And if you haven't picked up on it yet, the real reason that I run is for my mental health, but let's get into a little bit of history about my first panic attack and see if you can relate to this. I can vividly remember my first panic attack. I was in my second year of university, sitting in my differentials equation class at the back of the room, staring at this older man give a lecture on, I don't know, some Fourier transforms or something, just something super complex. And I thought that I was just having a little bit of an off day, but then my body started to feel extremely uncomfortable. I felt extremely lightheaded. I started shaking, my palms were sweating, and staring at the front of the room, nothing was really making sense. Everything was just completely blurry and fuzzy, and it was differentials equations, but it wasn't that. It was literally something within me. All I felt was like I was gonna pass out. So I got up out of that chair and ran to the bathroom close by and sat in the stall for probably 30 to 45 minutes, trying to understand what I was going through. At this point in time, I had no clue what anxiety, depression, or panic would really feel like, so I didn't understand what was happening. To me, I was really overweight at this point in time, like well over 300 pounds, and I thought that I was having some serious medical event, whether that be some sort of heart attack or something to do with diabetes, or I just had no clue. So after about 45 minutes, I got out of that bathroom stall, the class was coming out and everyone was exiting, and I just grabbed my stuff and went to the next class. Unfortunately, that day was a big snow day, so they actually canceled that next class. So then I went in my car, grabbed my two buddies that I was driving home, and headed on home. And that would have been okay, but on my way home, I had to pull over multiple times because I had no clue what was going on within my body. I thought that like I said, I thought I was gonna pass out, and passing out at the wheel, not an ideal situation. But I went home that day and literally laid in bed for the rest of the night. I'm curious if you had anything similar happen to you where you felt like you were gonna pass out, but in the end, it was just anxiety and panic. And now I'm gonna talk about how I manage my anxiety, depression, and panic disorder on a daily basis. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. During hard times, it can get really difficult if you don't have anyone to talk to. Being alone with your thoughts can be an extremely isolating feeling that can allow negativity to completely consume your mind. Today's sponsor, BetterHelp, is here to help you with that. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy platform that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. You can text them so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. There's a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. All you have to do to get started is to fill out a questionnaire to assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in as little as 48 hours. Once you're matched with a therapist, you can schedule a secure video or phone session session, or like I said, a text message session, whatever works better for you, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge at any time, and I would actually recommend you do that. It's not always going to be your first therapist that is the best fit for you. For me personally, I've gone through 3 different therapists in-person counseling. It really takes time to find a therapist that gels with you, and if the therapist isn't good for you, you have to move on and find one that works for you. If you're interested in joining BetterHelp and becoming one of the 3 million plus people who have used the platform to improve their mental health, you can use the coupon code Brendan at checkout for 10% off your first order at betterhelp.com. That is BetterHelp.com. Link in the description down below. Now let's get back to the video. So the year after that initial panic attack is the year that I decided to take control of my life and lose all the weight and start to run and do all these things that were actually beneficial for myself. And through that process, I discovered that when I started to feel anxiety or depression or my panic started to come on, and then I just went out for a run, I started to feel better. At the time, I didn't run to feel better mentally. At the time, it was purely trying to lose weight and try to get more physically fit. But I found out that by running, I was able to manage my anxiety. And every time I did that, I didn't feel as depressed. My panic went from way up here to a more manageable level. Running completely changed the way that I felt mentally. And that is actually why I continue to run to this day. The periods of time where I don't run are the worst. I'm extremely irritable. I'm not very good to be around. I get more depressed. My panic disorder is well up there, and my anxiety on a daily basis is pretty terrible. The intrusive thoughts come, they start beating me up inside, and I'm literally becoming my own worst enemy, saying things to myself that, well, you'd have to really hate me to say them to me. And over time, I've done a ton of research on how exercise can impact your mental health. It doesn't have to be running. Even with weightlifting or anything, releases endorphins and makes you feel better mentally. It's proven science, folks. It's literally written in scripture somewhere by some scientist that I don't fully understand because I am a software engineer, so the only thing that I understand is a computer. The main reason that I run today is for my mental health and for personal growth. I find that by pushing myself and challenging myself, I have that sense of growth. And the best benefit is that I don't feel as anxious, I don't feel as depressed, and my panic disorder is so much more manageable. I don't run to look any certain way. Like, look at me. I'm just like a skinny computer nerd, so I don't really care how I look. I run to be healthier and to feel better mentally. With that said, I still struggle. Every single day I deal with some sort of anxiety, some sort of depression, or some sort of panic. The intrusive thoughts, they come out of nowhere. I can be having a perfectly fantastic day, enjoying myself, and all of a sudden, this thought just enters my mind saying, oh, you might be really sick right now, or that pain you're feeling, yeah, it's probably something severe. And those intrusive thoughts are what spiral down into my anxiety, my panic, and my depression. And through in-person counseling, I've been able to develop strategies to combat those thoughts and get out of that negative loop by using CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, is what I've used to really take control and manage my anxiety and mental health on a daily basis. And again, I highly recommend in-person counseling, especially for extremely serious cases of mental health. But if you're not into that, I think BetterHelp would be a great option for some online therapy. Just get in there and start to talk to someone and try to work through these issues. All right, folks, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Bit of a vulnerable one, but I think it's important. Like I said, I want to really promote men's mental health and kind of take away the stigma by using whatever platform I have. All right, folks, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the Discord community because, well, we're a fantastic bunch over there. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.